If you have been following Battlefield 6 content on social media, you may have seen that there's a lot more of these aimers than before. Why something that basically wasn't a thing back in Battlefield 3 days is so popular now? As someone who has been making frag and highlight videos for years and been following the players from the aiming community, I'm going to try my best to answer some questions like how people find fun in aiming and why the casual player should not be worried about having these aimers in the same lobby. But before we get to that, let's talk about Battlefield. For most people, when they think about Battlefield, they probably think about playing the huge maps with friends, flying a helicopter, or the all-out chaos that only Battlefield delivers. They don't think about aiming. Why be so fixated on this one skill, out of others like movement, positioning, game sense, map rotation, team play, and so on? And why in Battlefield out of all games? Battlefield, unlike many other FPS games out there, delivers constant action without being too repetitive. You are faced with new situations almost every time you play the game, and while repetition still happens in some level, in some maps and modes, it's still rare that similar scenarios always end up with the same outcome. Many players do the most random things in the server, and it kinda contributes to the only in Battlefield slogan. And while the map design pushes players to play a certain way, there's always a variety to how some events play out. For example, if you are playing Breakthrough or a choke point map like Operation Locker, you are almost guaranteed to get through at some point. Whether your teammates push with you, changes how it plays out. This makes the gameplay interesting in many ways. Like if you have seen those clips from the perfect flanks behind all of enemy team, you often see comments like, "Your enemies aren't shooting back," but in reality, you just happen to be at the right spot at the right time. Making it happen is the challenge, and when you finally get to that position, it's very exciting. I think everyone who plays Battlefield knows that feeling, and I think it does contribute to why players who mostly play for aiming clips enjoy the game too. It doesn't matter how good your mechanical skill is. If you get bored playing a game, then there's no enjoyment. Battlefield, with its somewhat unique gameplay, makes it the perfect game for some aimers. Especially target switchers who are actively trying to get into situations where they are behind multiple enemies. It's kind of the dream game for target switching. And having players from all skill levels on the same server helps too. Of course, I have seen those comments lately that these players are playing Battlefield and there's no players on their skill level on the same on the enemy team. And yeah, I get that, but also there's better players on the enemy team. Like, it's all random, and yeah, I think it makes it better in that sense, if you get what I mean. You just don't know if you are facing the best player in the game or a head glitch camper. It adds an additional skill of reading your targets, a topic I touched on in another video some time ago. But how is aiming even fun? Now I don't know if people are even asking this question, but I'm sure some people are less impressed by aiming clips than others. Like, what does good aim matter if you aren't good in other areas of the game? I think this is pretty valid question. Often players who have really good aim have played the game enough where their movement and game sense is good too, but they do not always use that skill. Since they are playing only to get clips, they kinda ignore everything else. While having good aim helps in a lot of situations, almost anyone who sticks to their squad better or someone with better positioning usually wins the fight. But we gotta remember that everyone plays the game to have fun, and not everyone experiences fun the same way. Some of us find fun in getting better at a skill, and aiming is something that is very hard to master. There are a lot of subcategories to aiming, like target switching that I mentioned already, tracking, clicking, all of which have subcategories of their own. You can pick something you are good at, or you can try to be good at everything. For me, tracking comes very naturally. It was my strongest skill even back when I was just starting out, more so than the other categories. But I learned to really enjoy target switching. It's what I focus on the most nowadays. Clicking clips like hitting cool headshot streaks with the Magnum or snipers are cool as well, but for me it has always been my weakest area. But for some it's the only thing they enjoy, and it's totally fine. These days we are lucky to have near unrealistic benchmarks like Maddie OV, Viscos, like on the benchmark sheets on Kovacs or other aim trainers. There are a lot of these insane players, but I can't remember the names of of them, but on top of my head. But yeah, just know there's many of them. It just confirms that a lot is humanly possible. Kind of funny to say now that there's been many cheaters caught in Kovacs, but anyway. Yeah, it just confirms that there's a lot is humanly possible, and there's nothing but time and effort between you and improving your aiming skill. Personally, I got into aiming a long time ago. I already was into aiming when I played on console and tried to match my friends who had way better aiming skill. But I really got into it when I started playing on PC and saw videos from players like Rilla, Nickel, Hex, and Neo Ninja. Along the way, I met people on Battlefield 4 servers that were really good players, and it again pushed me into refining my aim more and more. Whether or not these players I looked up to were cheating or not, I knew what they did was humanly possible, and it drove me forwards in the beginning. When you are really focused about your aim during gameplay, you start to notice even the smallest of mistakes you are making. Was your crosshair placement bad while you jumped? Did you overflick just now? Was your tracking too shaky and making you miss some shots? Personally, seeing my mistakes helped me to not get angry at my enemies, since I always knew I would have won the fight if I just played a little bit better. Getting angry during gameplay never goes well. Usually when you get emotional, you start to play worse and worse. Having a way to convert that anger into motivation goes a long way in my opinion. While even after many years of playing, I'm not even near the benchmark for these insane players out there. I'm having a lot of fun trying to improve and get clips, making videos and interacting with this community. And in the end of the day, that's all that matters. So, should the casual player be worried that there are more and more of these players that go for clips in their game? I don't think so. Players like me are easily countered. We put ourselves in bad positions all the time. If you see my clips anywhere, you see that clearly. Like, in order to have the opportunity to get clipped where multiple enemies are on your screen, you are also exposed to multiple players who could eliminate you as well. I don't think it will matter for the casual player. There are types of players that are way more annoying than aimers. But that's all I wanted to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed. What's your take on aimers in Battlefield? If you find something negative about it or you disagree with me in some way, I would be interested to hear your thoughts. And as long as you keep it like smart in the comments. But yeah, bye bye.